Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Arianne and I love all things DIY and craft. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you stay updated every time I post a new video. So now that we've got all that out of the way, I need to first apologize because I have been away for a very long time. I've had some mental health issues and I just needed a break and some time to regroup, and I've just had a lot of work outside of YouTube that I needed to do, so that's why I've been missing and I never uploaded and filmed my August plan with me. So I thought I would upload this now, even though it's the end of the month, but I thought it's better to just post it so you guys can see what I did than just miss it completely. So the theme for August was a pirate theme, so like a Pirates of the Caribbean theme, and I started backwards because my brain was a bit scattered and everything. So I actually started with the mood tracker because this is what got me inspired to draw it all. So I just started with this page and then worked from here, and I made so many mistakes in this month spread, which was really frustrating, but you'll see some ways that, or some tricks I use to cover up mistakes other than just ripping the page out, because most of the time that's what I want to do. I just want to rip the page out and start again. But as I said, you'll see those as they come up and I will show you what I did to rectify the mistakes. So this is my mood tracker and my habit tracker pages. I saw this style drawing on Pinterest. I don't know who did it originally, I'm sorry, but I thought I could incorporate this into a mood tracker, and each of these little waves on the left hand side of the page are numbered, and that is where I coloured in the moods. And aptly it was quite a blue theme for this for the sea, and because I was quite down, it kind of matched, even though there's various shades of blue, so it's not all like dark blue, which is the saddest. But anyway, so I've put in the waves and I realized at the end that I'd miscounted. I don't know how, and I was so confused. It took me a while to work out that I'd skipped from 24 to 29. I don't even know what was going on. Like, my brain was just so scattered at this time. But on the opposite page I've got my habit trackers, so I've just got 6 areas that I kind of want to try and concentrate my mind on, and they're like my big goal setting tasks. So I've got gym, my happyasme, my YouTube channel, my Bojo Instagram. I like to track when I wash my hair because I'm going through a greasy period, so I like to see maybe I need to change the frequency of wash and blah blah blah. Anyway, then my nails, because I like to see if it's been 3 weeks or if I'm getting overzealous and I want to get my nails done again. And then my happyasme Instagram, because I am notoriously bad at posting on my Instagram channels. I start off with loads of good intentions and expectations that I'm going to post regularly for like the whole month, and then I'm good for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden I like completely drop off, and it frustrates me so much, and it really like annoys me. Like, my biggest like flaw is my non-consistency, so that's something I'm really trying to change in myself, and I'm hoping that doing the bullet journal will help me be more consistent, just with organizing my time and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just gotta be consistent with my bullet journal in general. Anyway, so for the lettering, I originally did this like calligraphy style font, which I use quite often. It's my favorite type of writing, but when I do my title page, I prefer the font that I use there, so I do actually change this out. But as I said, the color scheme for the mood tracker are the shades of blue. So the brightest blue is like the happier color, so for when the mood's really happy, and then the darkest, deepest blue is when I'm sad or down or have a negative day. So moving on from that page, we then got the monthly log, and I wanted to use like a compass style because I know that is heavily featured in like pirates illustrations and stuff, there's always like a compass or something with a map. So I thought I would do a compass and split the circle into 31 segments. So to do that, all I did was take 31 and divide it by 360, which is obviously 360 degrees, and then I used a protractor, I think that's the right word, a protractor, just to work out the degrees, and then a calculator obviously, and then I just did it every, I think it was like 11 point something degrees, and then I just marked it off, and then in the middle I did this star shaped compass, which is quite traditional to what you see in like older illustrations of compasses. And when I was drawing this out, I realized that one of them was just slightly wider than the others on these back stars, so I just made them all a bit thicker and then just colored them in black so that you can't see where there's like double lines and everything. It just looks a bit neater. Then for the center star, I just used watercolor, and I was really conscious of not putting too much water when using the watercolor, because the page buckles so much in this bullet journal. This is the Lemomi bullet journal, which I wanted something with like a thicker cardstock or thicker paper, because I bought alcohol inks and I wanted to use those in my bullet journal, but they were bleeding through so badly in my Luxdom bullet journal. So I tried this one. The reviews were quite good, but I'm not sure if I like it yet. So this is my second month using it, and I'm still a little bit undecided, but I think I'm gonna do, closer to the end of the year, do a review. I'm gonna review the Lemomi, the Luxdom, and the Archer and Olive bullet journals. I've never used the Archer and Olive, so I'm going to order one and test it out for a couple months, and then do a review so that you can see what I think, and it might help you when you think about what bullet journal book you're going to buy for next year, basically. But back onto the video that is on right now. So I wanted to make sure that I used less water, because the paper buckles so much with a lot of water, and I used the water pens. So I just made sure that I constantly brushed off any excess water and everything onto this little tissue on the side, just to make sure that it kind of stayed nice, but I wanted the color to be a little bit more intense, so I went with this orange ochre color. And then for the title page, I wanted to do like a map, and the one thing I did forget is to put an X for the pirate map, which is a bit annoying, but I can always go back and do this. But I really like how it turned out in the end. And at this point I was thinking, what font am I going to use? I don't want to use just the regular font, it just doesn't seem to match the style. So I looked on Pinterest and I found a pirate font, and I kind of like just copied it straight from there onto my bullet journal, and I used the Faber-Castell SC pen, which is like a chiseled tip pen, so you can get that like thick straight angles of the style, because they would use like a calligraphy, well, to them it would just be a regular pen, but they would use a calligraphy pen, and it would give this very thick straight lines instead of what you have now, which is quite circular in style. So that was quite a good pen to use for that. And then when I finished drawing it, I realized that I went wildly skew, which I do all the time, so I just put it in this like rolled banner border, just to make it look like it was kind of meant to be skew and not quite straight. And then for the map, I just did a little land shape, and then started to fill it in with some rivers and some mountains. But at this point I was really annoyed about the monthly log and habit tracker, mood tracker headers, so I just got some paper from the back of the book, and I just made sure I cut out pieces that were the same width and size as the lettering, and then I just used some glue and just glued this over the titles, fancy words, and then I just copied the same style lettering. I mean, thinking back, I did become a little bit overzealous with the sizing of some of the letters, so they do go out quite a lot. They're a lot bigger than I initially wanted, but when you play with new fonts and stuff, you never really know what it's going to look like, and I'm notoriously bad at keeping fonts straight, so that's why I prefer the like really circular calligraphy, because it doesn't matter if it's not straight. It's kind of, you're meant to make it look like it's a bit more like higgledy-piggledy and wiggly. But this is meant to be like a very straight font and like on the same line and everything. So I mean, it looks good in the end. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I just think with a bit more practice I'd be better at this font, but obviously I'm just doing it for this month, so maybe one day I will do pirate theme again and I'll be better. But I mean, it's not bad for my first attempt, I think, anyway. But you'll see in a second that when I write tracker underneath moon, I was way too overzealous with the size of the T. Like, I made the T so big that I could barely fit the rest of the word in, and I think I was okay at this moment. I think when I got to C, I was like, oh no, I've messed up, and I kind of started to try and squish them all in to try and get them to fit, but it's there, and I thought I could rip it off and do it again, but I just didn't want to be honest. And I've actually edited this bit out, but when I was writing Habit the first time, when I am copying a font from like an alphabet sheet, I am so like, I concentrate so hard on the way that I'm writing the letters that I spell words wrong all the time. So I actually wrote hack, so I had to rip that bit off at the top again and put another piece and rewrote habit tracker. But yeah, I made so many mistakes in this spread, but I mean, you can't really tell because I covered them over, and we've still got another mistake to go. But back to the title page, now that I'm happy with how the rest of it looks, I just carried on putting in some little mountain illustrations, just little triangles with a little bit of like snow covering over the top, so just like a little bit of squiggles at the top, just to give it the illusion that it's got dimensions or whatever, and it's not just a little triangle. And then just drawing in little forest illustrations, so just trees doing like a feathered effect as they go down with like a trunk, and just in like little clusters, so it looked like forests, just on a little like old map. And then little trails, so foot trails that they would follow. I just forgot to put the X for X marks the spot, which was a rookie mistake on my part. And then just across or around the shoreline, I'm just adding these little squiggly lines to show the water breaking onto land, and then in the middle of the water just adding like squiggly lines just to give the illustration of like the waves and the water movement. And then I just thought it was missing something, so I drew in a little pirate ship, or well, to be fair, a ship. It's not a pirate ship per se, because you can't really see the detail whether there's a flag with a skull and crossbones or anything, but it was just a ship on the illustration for the map. And then this page, so next to a title page, I always like to have like a quote page, something just to motivate me a little bit for the month ahead. And this is another example of me concentrating so hard on trying to get the lettering right that I forgot how to spell words. And instead I thought, what am I going to do? I didn't want to just cover it with another piece of paper because it just doesn't look as nice, and you can kind of see the papers there anyway. So I thought I'm going to make like a Dutch door style, cut out but it's just going to be a little bit of like the torn map. So the map's like kind of been torn, or the edge has been frayed or whatever. And it's been a bit worn on the sides or burnt or something along those lines. So I thought just draw like a squiggly lines to illustrate the edge of the paper, but obviously worn over time, and then just outlined that once I've cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then just added like dotting details just to give some shadow and dimension, so it didn't look so flat. So just around where the paper is folded, because there'd naturally be a shadow underneath there, so I've just got some dots there, and then some dots on the top where the paper's folded over, because it would be different color because it's on the different side, just to give that dimension. And then in a couple of places on the tear of the paper, just doing like these dots to show that it's been like burnt or damaged and ripped, so it's got darker sections. But I didn't do this too much. I wanted to keep it minimal, and then just added a little bit more of the water movement illustrations that were on the opposite page. Then for this page I rewrote my quote, and for this month my quote was, "Not all treasure is silver and gold." And also for my quotes, I like to have them be based on my theme. So obviously I needed a pirate themed quote, and I thought this went so well with just my mindset at the moment, like just to reiterate the fact that not all my successes or achievements should be measured in money or performance, just in other things like relationships or family or positive things that I've done that month. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be financial or measurable in something that you can hold. It could be something more emotional. So I thought this quote was quite good, just to remind me to kind of sit back and reflect a little bit and see what treasure or what positive things had happened that were not related to money or anything that you could physically hold necessarily. And I wanted to use a mixture of fonts, so I used the pirate font for the treasure, silver and gold, and then like a mix of like a sans serif font and calligraphy font. Looking back, I wish I'd just done two fonts, because I think the thin calligraphy font that I used kind of didn't go as well as the thick sans serif font. But the reason I didn't use another sans serif font, I'll get the words right, was because when I wrote "is," I just didn't like the way it looked. I didn't mind the I, but the S was just a bit annoying. So I just went with something that I know I can draw easily, and yeah, so I've I just did basically kind of just put this together. I like the way it looks in the end. I think the theme is coherent and it goes well together. Is it my favorite theme I've done so far? I'm not sure. The other thing that was really annoying me is my pen was running out, so doing this pirate font was really taxing on the pen, and it just became quite difficult towards the end to get it to be like this really nice thick sharp lines, so I had to go over it a few times. But once I did it, I just used my Signo Uniball gel pens. I've got these in silver and gold, and I thought it'd be quite fun just to overlay those black lettering with the silver and gold pen, depending on the word. So silver obviously in silver and gold in gold, and it just adds a little bit more interest and character to the quote and stop it just being like flat and black. And I didn't want to add any illustrations or anything, because I did at one point think about maybe doing a message in a bottle or something along those lines, but I just wanted it to be quite simple, especially because when you push the piece of paper over where it had been cut because I made a mistake, it kind of adds something different to it. So I didn't want to make it too busy or anything like that. Then on this final page on my monthly spread, this is my brain dump. I like to do this just to have just a place to write lists or notes or plan things out. Basically anything I need that I just need to just quickly jot down. I use this page. Sometimes the page is quite empty, sometimes it's like pretty much full, but I like to just include it just in case I need somewhere just to write something down that doesn't really have like a collection or a dedicated page or doesn't really fit in with my weekly planners. So this is the kind of place it lives. And then for this, I wanted it to have this like damaged page that is old and burnt. And I would normally, when I do this sort of thing, because I've obviously done like a pirate map before when I was like in school, and we used to use tea bags to make the page look old, and then also get our parents, or you know, as I got older, we would burn the edges ourselves and tear them and just make them look worn. So this is kind of the effect that I wanted to give to this page, just to make it a little bit more interesting. But I wanted to make sure that a lot of the page was free for me just to write stuff on. I didn't want to have too much obstructing the area or the space for planning and writing stuff and making notes or whatever else I needed to do. And for the edges, it's same as I did on the title page. I just used the stippling dotting, a technique that I've used a few times before in other bullet journal spreads and monthly plan with me's, just to give the illusion of dimension and make it look a little bit more interesting and less flat and two-dimensional. So I've just put a lot of dots around the edge of the paper just to make it darker, because this is where the pages are burnt, and where the page is been burnt significantly and it's like spread further away from just the edge, I've kind of made it made more dots go away from the edge and more onto the page, so that looked like the burnt edges kind of went further in, and it wasn't just on the edges of the page. And then for this middle bit, I wanted to give the idea of it being burnt, so they've been holding the page over like candlelight and it's accidentally caught fire just in the middle of the page. So I wanted to look like it's got a hole burnt through it because of fire, and when I've done this in the past, it does create quite a big black ring and then like a bit of a burn off section where it like shoots off, because obviously the fire was underneath it, and it does like kind of spread below it before it kind of burns through the page. So that's why it's got like these little bits that shoot off. And then just the rest of the page, just doing the same thing, making little dots and adding the burnt details and just making it look less flat. So the things that I like about this page, I love the mood tracker page. I just think that's my favorite page. Definitely that was the page that inspired me to do this theme, and it just is my favorite page. I love it. And things that I'm happy with is, funnily enough, because I make a lot of mistakes all the time, and a lot of times I just like scrap the page. So I'll either rip it out if I can, if there's nothing on the back page, or I turn it over, stick it to another page, and then I just work on that, or I basically just colour it all black or something and then draw over it. So I was really pleased that I found alternatives for fixing my mistakes, because in life you've just got to embrace mistakes and just find a way around them and a way around obstacles. So that is my positivity for this month. But anyway, so now we're going to jump into the flip through. So I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Following me on my Instagram pages, I have happyasme.bojo and happyas.me on my main, which is my main account, and Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit the notification bell so you stay updated every time I post a new video. And I will see you guys very, very soon with my next video. Bye guys.